Today, Jim and I are reviewing some of our interesting and challenging hardscape projects from last year. And this first project that you've got, that seems like a lot of steps there, and I know there was some drainage issues, so why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah, I'd say this one was fun. Fun for me because I didn't do all the physical labor. I mean, there was a lot of work to this project. But interestingly, the challenge of that is we had a long walk, concrete. It was all shifting and settling, and one of the steps was almost 10 or 11 inches.
Wow.
And it was just unsafe. So in the process, we tore the whole walk out and rebuilt the whole thing with the pavers and block to bring up to date and add a little more interest, especially. And then up towards the top, we actually rebuilt the kind of like a little stoop area where they could actually put a chair and sit on it.
Great.
And just much more functional.
Yeah, and each one of those steps came out a consistent 6 inches, which is what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, it's very easy to walk on it now.
It's much safer
compared to before. And then you had one where you rebuilt some planters.
Sure. It's very common from the 70s era to have these planters and steps that are made of the flagstone, and it flakes and it settles and it moves. Just so many different size pieces there. So we were able to create a set of planter and steps using the retaining wall block. It has kind of a textured, rough edge to it in a two-tone gray scheme there to mimic that look of natural stone. But it's going to be much more lasting. And then we evened out the steps here, kind of like
you made those steps more uniform so it's easier to walk on.
Right, and each tread of those is topped with pavers that coordinates with a walkway that was up above that, so it all kind of matches.
Yeah, blends real well.
And in this third one, this looks like quite the before with these retaining walls.
Well, you live in Broome County, you have slopes and you have walls, and a lot of people look at these retaining walls and they think, those block walls don't work.
Right.
They fail. And yes, they do fail if they're not put in properly.
Correct.
And this one actually lasted quite a while, but it was starting to heave and move. And the block was an old block. So we updated it. We gave it a nice curve and put the proper drainage and base and all on the wall. And so this wall should last for a lot of years.
Right.
And with the proper batter, where it tapers away, it actually gives the people a little bit more room when they get in and out of the cars, because it is a tight space.
Nice. So if you've got a challenging hardscape installation that you would like to discuss during a landscape consultation, give us a call. Thank you for joining us. I'm Liz Snyder.
And I'm Jim Hotelling, the Home Gardeners from Hillside Garden Landscaping.